Byron and Charlie are just finishing up a brand new forge for the blacksmith shop. Let's see if we can find out how this thing is built.
Come in and formed up the basic forge, and then when he was done, we have some plates that Ian Walker donated to us, a nice big 4-foot square, 5/16 thick steel plate that I cut out. It's all underneath these bricks. One of them is at this level, and this is the steel plate here. Then a piece of sheet metal that's bolted down to that, and there's a smaller plate that's down underneath here that forms this rear part. Then the sheet metal plate connects the two. Of course, the forge part, and that's all mortared in. We have a clinker breaker that hasn't been installed yet. We've got the rod. We had to drill a hole through the masonry that goes through and goes in underneath the fire pot where there's a groove that accepts that. The clinker breaker gets assembled onto this shaft that's right here, and then this is going to get bent. This rod out here is going to get bent. We'll heat that up and bend it into a crank so that it looks something like this. This is the original clinker breaker rod that comes with the fire pot, but needless to say, it's way short. So I have steel rod at home, which is 7/16 in diameter, so I cut a piece off and brought it in, and I get it assembled to this. We'll bend this up with the torch, form a little crank right on here, and then the operator can use that as it breaks up the clinker that's in the forms in the bottom of the fire pot. There is the tweer, which is the cast iron piece that's bolted to the bottom of the fire pot, which directs the airflow from the bellows or the mechanical blower into the bottom of the fire pot, which of course accentuates the cold. I hooked up a mechanical blower that was donated by the Sewell Company. And so now that we have another bellows that was donated by Vernon Shaw, I reconditioned that and installed it up overhead. So now the piping comes down from the bellows to the rear of the forge, where I've got a Y in the system and 2 blast gates. So I can take and cut one off when you're demoing the use of the bellows. You can open the blast gate for that and shut off the one for this so that you get the maximum airflow into the fire pot. Things that we have left to do, we installed in the masonry 2 pieces of pipe in here. Threaded rod is going to come through that, and the toolbar is going to be set back up here so that we can drop the tongs that aren't being used and our accessories to the front of that masonry work. Once I get these pipes cut off on the back side, we'll reposition the bricks in here, and then that's all going to get filled in with sand, and it'll all be brushed down between the bricks to form the hearth area. And then this will be a basic raw coal storage area here, and then you keep moving it into the fire as the day progresses. Then our ash drops down to the bottom. There's an ash gate that hasn't been installed yet. This device goes on the bottom of the tweer underneath the fire pot. That gets bolted on. It's weighted this way so that it will pivot and stays closed on the bottom of the ash of the fire pot. Then when ash has to be dumped, you just pick that up and it's going to drop the ash into the bucket that's going to be in underneath this whole assembly.